Okay. Hello dear subscribers. Hello my friends. I'm very glad to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I remind you that my name is Michelle and I'm an expert in the field of international finance. Today's material, I hope, as always, will be interesting, informative and useful for you. What are we going to talk about today? Of course, about another fraudulent project, a black broker who sets himself only one goal: to find and deceive the maximum number of clients under various pretexts. Although I understand that as a specialist in international finance you mostly expect from me some other materials on the theory and practice of trading, and to be honest, of course I'd be much more happy to tell you about this, but to my great regret it turns out that it would be much more practical and useful to you to tell about some scammers. See how I reason. By any large you can find information about what, when and how to trade in order to get a stable profit on the internet yourself. Now, I don't think it's easy to do it all. I understand that the internet today has begun to evolve from the state of an almost limitless library, a huge knowledge base, to the state of a large garbage dump in which it becomes difficult to find something valuable because of too large arrays of useless information. And to find something valuable, you need to spend a lot of time, and nothing can be done about it, unfortunately. Of course, everything is greatly simplified when you know exactly what you are looking for. And here's the question: do you know? In principle, it will be enough to use search queries such as profitable trading strategies for trading and similar to it. This way, you can start your own search, launch a self-education program, and sooner or later, by studying, trying on demo accounts, and sifting out the excess, after about 2 or maybe 3 months, you will most likely find your own ideal combination of analytical tools that will satisfy yourself. Of course, I could tell you all about it in a few videos, but understand, please, my knowledge in this case would be completely useless and would not bring any positive result. How does this happen? And let me just explain you right now. I'll be short. Look, professional knowledge is valuable only if you work with a broker who does not plan to deceive you, yeah? Then, of course, it is important to know about indicators, trading time, various methods of risk reduction and control. But think for a second, what if the broker you are going to invest with is not a broker at all? What if this is the most common fraudster only pretending to be a broker, but in fact he is not backed by a team of professionals, but by people who launch such portals every month? Yeah, I hope you understand that no matter how well you know how to build price channels and interpret the international financial news coming out, it will not help you. That's why I pay the closest attention to the issue of choosing a broker and constantly tell you about projects in which I categorically not recommend to invest. If the choice is made correctly, you have a chance to become a professional in the profession, achieve unprecedented heights of skill, and change your life fundamentally. But if you make a mistake at the very beginning of your career, the scammers will not leave you any chances. Therefore, look at my materials, do not trust anyone at their word, and do not fall into the traps of scammers, please. So friends, today I will tell you about the project called Geetle and the reasons why I strongly advise you not to associate your professional future with it. However, before starting a detailed analysis of the project, I ask you to like my video and share a link to it with all your contacts. I hope no one has yet had time to suffer from the actions of this outright scam, If you have come across their activities, I really ask you to write me about it in the comments. I promise to preserve your anonymity and give optimal recommendations for resolving your situation. But it's time for me to start a detailed review of the Geetle project. I invite you to join me and let's go, guys. Okay, okay, so now we are together on the central page of the Geetle project portal. Considering that I know that this is a fraudulent project, it is obvious at a glance that it poses a gigantic threat to novice speculators. The portal is implemented in excellent English, which, given its worldwide popularity, suggests that the project's activities cover the territory of almost the entire globe. The scale of what is happening makes an extremely depressing and negative impression on me, despite the fact that I cannot deny the fact that scammers have done just a lot of work to process the maximum possible audience. I'll tell you more, I've met a lot of white license brokers who don't have such a high quality and interesting portal. Yeah. The next thing I'd like to draw your attention to is this information indicated almost at the very beginning of the main page of the portal. Pay attention to the fact that it is you and me who are presented with a source of competitive advantages. More than 2,000 of trading instruments. This is incredibly much, and this is an open and brazen lie. Let me show you. It was here at the very beginning. Yep, that's it. There are no thousands of instruments here. There is only one instrument here. Contracts for price difference. Where does such a figure come from, calculated in thousands of units? This is a classic substitution of concepts which is used by all black brokers without exception. Here on the classical stock exchange, there are really thousands of assets that can be traded. This is the pure truth. After all, each type of securities, cryptocurrencies, metals, etc. is essentially an independent trading instrument. But Geetle does not offer its clients the opportunity to work on the stock exchange. It's almost openly stated here that the only available way of commerce is contracts for difference in prices, which have nothing to do with the physical acquisition of classic exchange assets. When trading contracts for price difference, what is commonly abbreviated FCFDs in the professional environment, you will never become the owner of a part of the company whose securities you purchase. There is no transfer of ownership at all. Most of all, such trading resembles some kind of financial casino where a trader makes a bet and the broker performs the function of a cropper. The next point that really hurts me here is the size of the leverage. It says here 1 to 400. Yeah, flexible leverage up to 1 to 400. That's a really monstrous amount. White brokers really give traders the opportunity to trade with a leverage of more than 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 at maximum. And why it is suggested that you use a large shoulder here, large leverage. To maximize profits, Geetle employees will tell you for sure. They always tell things like this. But I will now explain you how it works in reality. Look, let's say you make a forecast and invest a certain amount in it. For ease of understanding, let's assume that it is if the exchange rate changes by 1 pips, you will make a profit of $1 if you do not use leverage. That is to trade in a ratio of 1 to 1. If you use a leverage of 1 to 400, then while maintaining the level of the initial investment, your income will increase 400 times when the price changes by 1 pips. That's it. It will not be $1 but $400. Yeah, incredibly much. But that's how they will tell you every time. But do not forget that such a high yield has a downside, the same high unprofitability. That is, if the price passes 1 pips in the direction opposite to the forecast you made, then you will lose not $1 but the same 400. Plus, do not forget that the broker will always offer you to trade with a certain spread. That means the area of the chart before overcoming which your transaction will be evaluated as unprofitable even with correct forecasting. My conclusion on all the above is the follows. One, only top-level professionals with a prediction accuracy of 80% and more can afford to trade with a large leverage, and there are actually only a few of them. For a novice trader, such a configuration of trading conditions will only lead to a very fast drain of the entire deposit, because to reset it, it will be enough for you to make just a couple of mistakes, a very high risk which I do not advise anyone to accept. Another point I want to draw your attention to is the various cooperation programs. Let's go with you to the account types section of the portal. Yeah, this one. Yeah. What I wanted to attract your attention to here. Look, the minimum deposit just for beginner traders has amount to $1,500. In my opinion, this will attract a lot of newcomers who are not yet ready to work with large accounts, and these are hundreds and thousands of people around the world. Yes, they are clearly ready to work with clients for a long time, gradually luring them out of larger and larger sums. Another dishonest and brazen trick designed to lure traders' money that Geetle project does. And everywhere the leverage is 1 to 400. But as you remind, I already told you about it. Yeah. The next point is waiting us again on the central page. Just a second. Yeah. But this time at the bottom of the spread. Pay attention to what is used here as payment systems. There's nothing described here, but I will tell you that Geetle talks only about bank cards, that is to replenish the deposit, and quite a large one. In the account type section we saw that the minimum deposit is as much as $2,500. You will need to make a transfer in favor of an anonymous individual. For comparison, I'll tell you that in order to replenish a deposit with a white license broker, it is mandatory to pay a visit to the bank. And there are no problems here. You can transfer money to the card, and this is just ridiculous. And finally, I'd like to tell you about the latest flow of the Geetle project, which will finally dispel all our doubts. Everything else can be attributed with a big stretch to the category, yes, we have strange working conditions, but it's your choice to work according to them or not. The real crime begins right here. Look at the footer that I'm just showing you. Can you see? There is no information at all, neither about where the project is registered, nor about how and what it is regulated by. Only one solid white spot. For sure, there is indicated that is an Asia region, but although in the contact section, let me show you, even the same region registration is indicated in the contact section. Yeah. But at the same time, I'll remind you how strictly financial regulations work. And if there is no license, and not here and nor in the footer, we cannot find information about the regulative documents. There is only a warning message related to risks when trading CFDs instruments. And if the project Geetle has no any regulation documents, has no brokerage license issued by one of wide financial regulators all over the world, it doesn't matter whether it will be in European region, in Asia region, or in United States region. There is nothing. And as far as I can see, Geetle is just an anonymous portal that does not have any license from any regulators, and that means that their activities are illegal all over the world. Let me come back to you, my friends. Okay. So, what conclusion can be there on the Geetle project finally? In my opinion, it is quite obvious that we are facing an anonymous scam that is only trying to appear as a white license broker, naturally not being such in reality. So I don't recommend any of you to invest here, never. Friends, do not forget to write comments and wishes. I'm always glad to answer you. Thank you all for watching my materials, my video. I hope you were interested. And now I say you goodbye until we meet in my next materials. Ciao guys and have a nice day.